The episode Aruncarea cu ciocanul, partea 2, from Las Fierbinți, continues the brilliant exploration of rural Romania's absurdities and fragile human relationships with the same combination of humor and melancholy that defines the entire series. At first glance, it appears to be just another comedic continuation of a village competition. But beneath the laughter lies a profound commentary on pride, identity, and the quiet frustrations of small communities trying to find meaning in their repetitive routines. This second part of the story begins in the familiar dusty square of Fierbinți, where the locals gather to witness an event that seems both ridiculous and strangely important: the hammer throw contest. The whole village becomes involved, transforming an otherwise meaningless athletic challenge into a symbolic battle for status, respect, and self-worth. Gianni, as usual, embodies a mixture of ambition and foolish confidence, convinced that his raw strength will finally earn him recognition. Meanwhile, Bobița turns the occasion into a social spectacle, motivated more by the profit from selling beer than by any sense of sportsmanship. These two characters reflect different faces of the same hunger: the need to matter, to be seen, and to prove oneself, even when the arena is as small as a rural playground. The camera's slow movement over the faces of the spectators reminds us that in Fierbinți, everyone is both judge and performer, participating in a continuous cycle of gossip, admiration, and mockery. As the story unfolds, the hammer throw becomes more than a test of physical power. It turns into a metaphor for control, or the lack of it, in the lives of these villagers. Each throw seems to carry the weight of personal frustration. When Gianni prepares to throw, his exaggerated posture and theatrical gestures reveal not only his comic vanity, but also a childlike need for validation. When Branzoa interrupts to boast about his own past victories, it becomes clear that the contest has little to do with sports and everything to do with male ego and village politics. Director Dragoș Buliga subtly uses rhythm and timing to heighten this tension, contrasting bursts of laughter with moments of awkward silence that expose the characters' insecurities. Even the background details, the old tractor, the barking dog, the lazy sunlight, reinforce the feeling that this is not just a competition but a small allegory about existence itself. People in Fierbinți are trapped in a world where the stakes are low, yet the emotions are intense because the village has become a stage where every gesture, no matter how small, is magnified. Celentano, as always, brings an ironic wisdom to the episode. Beneath his drunken exterior lies a rare lucidity. His comment about how throwing a hammer is easy compared to throwing away your worries serves as one of those accidental philosophical moments that Las Fierbinți does so well. It reminds the audience that humor and truth are deeply intertwined in this show. The dialogue feels improvised yet carries a rhythm of authenticity, as if we were listening to real people rather than fictional characters. The humor never feels forced because it comes from observation rather than exaggeration. What makes this episode particularly remarkable is how it balances farce with introspection. There's a moment when Gianni, after a failed throw, sits silently on a crate while the others laugh. The camera lingers on his face long enough for the viewer to sense the bitterness behind the grin. It's a brief but powerful reminder that behind every village joke lies a trace of disappointment. These small emotional fractures are what elevate Las Fierbinți above ordinary comedy. It uses laughter as a tool to explore loneliness, delusion, and the endless human need for acknowledgement. The relationship between Gianni and Bobica in this episode mirrors the eternal tension between dreamers and pragmatists. Gianni believes in grandeur. Bobica believes in business. Their conversations, full of ridiculous plans and sarcastic remarks, reflect two conflicting ways of surviving in a stagnant environment. One seeks meaning through ambition, the other through profit. Yet both are trapped in the same inertia, unable to escape the gravitational pull of Fierbinți. This duality gives the show its emotional depth, allowing viewers to recognize a part of themselves in both men, the dreamer who wants to conquer the world and the realist who sells beer at the corner to pay his bills. Visually, Aruncarea cu ciocanul partea 2 continues the show's distinctive aesthetic. Wide static shots, muted colors, and the raw authenticity of Romanian rural life. The cinematography invites the audience to breathe the same air as the characters, to feel the dust on their shoes and the heat of the afternoon sun. The absence of dramatic lighting or artificial beauty adds to the episode's sincerity. Every frame seems to whisper, "This is real. This is life as it is," flawed and absurd, yet strangely poetic. The episode also offers a subtle critique of contemporary Romanian society, particularly the obsession with appearances and hollow competition. The hammer, a simple object, becomes a symbol of false pride, a reminder that people often measure success in absurd ways when true satisfaction remains unreachable. The laughter of the villagers when someone fails is not cruel but communal, a shared release from their own frustrations. It's the laughter of those who know that life rarely offers grand victories, only small moments of escape disguised as contests or celebrations. There is an especially poignant scene near the end, when evening descends and the crowd disperses, leaving only the empty field and a forgotten hammer lying in the grass. The silence after the noise of the day feels almost sacred. Gianni looks at the hammer as if it were the embodiment of all his failed ambitions, and for a brief instant we see the depth of his humanity. This is the moment when Las Fierbinți transcends comedy entirely and enters the realm of bittersweet realism. It's not about who threw the farthest. It's about how everyone keeps throwing despite knowing they will never reach far enough. As someone who has grown up in a small community myself, I find in this episode an almost painful familiarity. The petty rivalries, the exaggerated gossip, the dreams that never leave the local bar, they are universal. Fierbinți may be a Romanian village, but it represents every place where people live under the illusion that something extraordinary could happen at any moment, even though deep down they know that nothing really changes. The hammer throw is an excuse, a ritual that keeps the spirit alive. It's about doing something, anything, to feel that time has not entirely swallowed you. The episode's genius lies in how it finds meaning in the meaningless. Each joke, each silence, each ridiculous misunderstanding carries an undercurrent of melancholy. This is what makes Las Fierbinți not just funny, but profoundly human. It portrays ordinary people with extraordinary empathy, never mocking them, only observing them with gentle irony. Aruncarea cu ciocanul partea 2 stands out as one of those episodes where the laughter fades slowly into reflection, where viewers realize that they were not just entertained, but subtly moved. It captures that delicate balance between comedy and tragedy, between absurdity and truth. In the end, it's not the hammer that matters, but the invisible weight everyone carries, the burden of routine, pride, and longing. And as the credits roll, we are left with a simple realization. Sometimes, even in the smallest corners of the world, a clumsy hammer throw can reveal everything about what it means to be human.